All right, welcome everyone. My name is Darlise Calix. I am the developer marketing manager here at Devpost. So I'm Darlise, aka Darveloper. For anyone who's newer to us, Devpost's mission is to inspire developers, creatives, and builders to build great software. We're creating a world where everyone who wants to improve their craft or be inspired to build comes to Devpost for that inspiration. So to that end, we power most of the world's software hackathons on our platform. So quick context in case you're kind of just getting started. Maybe you're just now hearing about this hackathon, or you've been building for a while and you're like, wait, what is this about again? We're here for the All Things Agentic Hackathon, which is a global hackathon, as we saw from the chat, from Google Cloud. So you're going to be building an autonomous AI agent powered by Gemini and Google Agent, the ADK, essentially. So you have three tracks: Taskmaster, collaborative partner, and Fortified Enterprise Fleet. I'll let the team talk about that a little bit more, but I want to say thank you all so much, and thank you all to the Google Cloud team for doing this session. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Thank you so much, Darlene. My name is Willie. I am based in San Francisco. I am a product marketing manager at Google Cloud. I've been at Google for about close to 8 years. And I just want to say a big thank you to all of you. We run quarterly hackathons. This is my favorite part of my job. So I just want to say a big shout out and thank you all for joining today. I'll let Christina introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Christina. I'm the DevRel Engineering Manager. So my team does work a lot with developers. And again, like what Willie was saying, this is at least one of my favorite part of my job. So I love looking at your project. I love all the energy coming from the developers around the world. So looking forward to see your project. Keep them coming.
Awesome.
Cool. So I think,
all right.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying we can get right into it then.
Okay, cool. I'm going to start off with the fun stuff, which is the prizes, which is why everyone's here. I think if you haven't read already, we have a ton of prizes on the line. The grand prize winner is going to get $50,000 in cash, $5,000 in credits, virtual coffee with a team member, and social promo. We have 3 different categories, as Darlie's mentioned: Taskmaster, Collaborative Partner, and Fortified Enterprise. $20,000 in cash, $2,000 in credits, virtual coffee chat, and then a social promo. Then we have 2 different tracks that are somewhat similar. Startup excellence. In order to register for that one, you have to be a certified startup that is incorporated. $20,000 in cash, $5,000 in credits, virtual coffee chat, and social promo. The equivalent to that is the individual and the hobbyist. So if you're a team or by yourself, you'll get $10,000 in cash. Well, 2 winners for that: $1,000 in Google Cloud credits, virtual coffee, and social promo. And then we have some subcategories. We have best architectural design, best multimodal, and then honorable mentions. $5,000 in cash for the first 2, $1,000 in credits, and then for the honorable mentions, we'll have $2,000 in cash and then $500 in credits. So again, thank you all for joining. We're really excited. We can't wait to see all your projects. Christina, I'm going to pass it over to you to talk about the tracks, and then we can get to Q&A.
Sure. So like many of you who has already read, but I'm just going to quickly go over all the 3 different tracks that we have. So the first one is Taskmaster. So I'm not going to read all the details in the description, but what we're actually looking for is a agent that can actually solve tasks. So we're not looking into a very simple chatbot where it can just answer your questions. Like everybody does that right now. So we want to have a extension of that specific agents that can extend it beyond like the chatbot itself. Right. And we're looking for something that can be long running, because I know a lot of tasks that runs for a very long time. So we wanted to spend across multiple times, like hours, weeks, or even months, depending on the task you're trying to solve. Right. So that is something that we're looking for. We're looking for that kind of innovation for that specific one, where this Taskmaster is going to help human to accomplish things that they don't want to do anymore, so that we can spend time on the things that we love, right? So that's the first one. And the second one is the collaborative partner. So this collaborative partner is thinking about the data that it's collecting. How does the data collection process helps with helping the users, right? So this is thinking about what's better way of ingesting this data. How do we manage the life cycle of this data? And also, how do we maybe self-improve during the process? This is going to be the key things that we look for a winning project, things like that. So very smartly use of data is going to be a very key in winning this specific one. And the last but not least, this is the Fortified Enterprise. So we're talking about multi-agents. We're talking about swarms of agents that kind of works together, collaborating and completing a specific tasks. I think the winning part is how secure they are. Since we're talking about enterprise, we're talking about how can they be tracked? How do you do monitorings? And are you thinking through all the life cycles of the entire agentic process? The life cycle of the software development life cycles, and how do you pinpoint all of that and building that very complete enterprise solution. So these are the 3 different tracks. They are very different, so feel free to choose the one that you think have the best chance. So, and there's a couple of things that we look for in terms of the judging, right? So submission requirements. Well, getting that README correct or getting that README filled with content is very important, because sometimes it's really hard to, looking at your video to kind of give us more information, right? So sometimes we have to dig through your code. Sometimes we have to dig through the repository that you provided with us. But if you can give us a quick hint on your README, so we can quickly process what they are and give us your claim and where things are, maybe that's going to help us in terms of judging as well. So we can quickly get to your point. So that might get you more of a chance to win. Another thing, the architecture diagram. So in the judging, we do judge you on the architectural design and the tech stack. So having the architecture diagram will also help us in looking into the diagram immediately, so we can see how you structure all your agents and how you deploy everything and how you kind of coordinate everything together. How do you design? Why did you choose that tech stack? So that is going to help us a lot. It is okay if it's AI generated, as long as it reflects your actual architecture. We'll know if it doesn't, right? So please make sure it's accurate. And last but not least is the demonstration video. And that's the first thing judge will see when they first when they first look at your actual submission. So wow the judges. My point is wow them first, so they get they have intention to read through everything that you have so far, and then they can read into the READMEs. So wowing them in the first maybe 30 seconds would be very important. My tricks for you. So yes, that is going to be, and that's where they're going to get all the ideas, and then this is the time when you can explain a bit more into your project as well. So in terms of the judging criteria, we look into innovations and operational side, right? Is it innovative, right? It's something that's a little bit harder to kind of say, but it depends on, because we see a lot of hackathons a lot, so we can kind of see which one is more innovative, which is more of a wowing factor for us. And then other one is, does it actually operate? So we do have a lot of system in place to make sure everything kind of that you submit is running, and we'll dig into your code and see if if it's actually saying what you're saying, and then we're gonna look into how good it is, and is it actually doing what you claim it does, right? So that's kind of something that we'll look into. The architecture design is your design reflecting to the actual needs and your project, right? So if you're designing a long-running agent and then you don't have any recovery steps, or if you're rerunning any tokens and all that kind of stuff, that's what we'll be looking for. Or what kind of data source are you choosing to store your persistent data? Why is it? And all that kind of stuff, right? And how do you kind of place everything together? That's what we're looking for. And then the other thing, one of the mandatory judging criteria is that you have to use one of the Google Cloud services, right? So this is where we'd be looking for, are you actually using anything on Google Cloud? It could be Cloud Run, it could be any databases that's on Google Cloud, or it could be maybe another services on top of Google Cloud, whatever that you choose or pops up, if it's event driven, right? So depends on what you want. And then looking at the another part is the demo readiness. So this is and then your actual demo presentation. So we'll look into a presentation and we'll see how well they're presented. Are you saying presenting your project correctly and with energy? Of course, we love energies. My trick is that don't do AI don't use AI voices. It feels less genuine to me. I don't know. That's my purpose. But other judges might think differently. But yeah, so present your case well in your video, and that's going to be a part of judging as well. So that's all the judging criteria that we have so far. All right, so I think we're ready for some questions.
I'll add one more note just about the
Yeah.
demo video. The winners get promoted on our cloud socials. So make sure it's for the masses. We want it to be able to share on our social media. So to Christina's point, it's very important to wow the judges. So that would one piece I'll add about that. Yes, over to you, Christina. Q&A.
All right, we can start with the Q&A. I know we have some people who submitted some of their projects for a little bit of a live review. So I'll read off one or two of them and then we'll get into the rest of the questions that I see. We have a ton of questions in the Q&A, so we'll jump into those as well. But the first project is from Ankit. The project is called Shipwright for the Taskmaster track, and it says my agent runs across days. App review takes 2 to 4 days essentially. How do I demo a long running async agent in a 4-minute unedited video?
So what you can do is talk about your project first, telling us what it does, and then what you can show is the end state of your agent, telling us how it solves the problem. And then maybe you can kind of scroll through the logs for us a little bit so we can see how that happens. And don't worry, we know if it will run across multiple days or not. We will know by going through your code and looking at some of the operational stuff that you have documented in your project. So don't worry about that. As long as you say what it does, as long as you show the end result, we're happy about that.
Awesome. All right, next one is from Dwayne. His project is Forever Brain, Memory Steward for the collaborative partner track. And the project, he states, how do I structure a a 4-minute demo that clearly proves the background agent state change, owner approval boundary, and Google Cloud execution without overwhelming judges?
It's okay. You can totally overwhelm the judges. We'll be fine. But it's okay. Just go through all the components that you have. But I would say don't go to the details of a lot of the things because it's gonna eat up your 4-minute video. We won't bypass that 4-minute mark. Everything that you put after 4 minutes, we will not watch it. Right. So just be careful with that. Talk about your idea first, and then go through all this details that you have so far. So that's okay. You don't have to show us every single detail, but you can tell us all the clever things that you made in your hackathon. That would be something that I'm looking for in the video.
Thank you for that. All right, let's get into the Q&As while more people are submitting things. All right, so Q&A. Ayad asks, our project combines multi-agent adversarial debate, so bull versus bear, with a deterministic decision policy and hard gates. Would this fit best under Fortified Enterprise Fleet or collaborative partner?
I think if it's both, but I would say collaborative partner for this one because for the Fortified Enterprise Fleet, we're also thinking about security. And I really I see some aspect of security, but I don't really see the enterprise security grade to this one. So maybe I would go for the collaborative partner for this one.
Great question. All right, Sanjay asks, for this challenge, can we use Google AI Studio or are we only using anti-gravity?
You can use whatever. We don't care about the tools. We care about your actual using of the Gemini model and the use of Google Cloud services. You can use AI Studio, you can use anti-gravity, whatever your choice is.
Thank you. All right, Heater asks, okay, he says, we are treating governed persistent state mutation, including automatic revalidation and repair, as the agentic action in the collaborative partner track. Does that read as sufficiently agentic to you, or would you want the demo to trigger an additional external action as well?
If you can extend it to external action, then that will give you extra bonus mark.
All right. Adam asks, for the collaborative partner track, can the submitted product be an MCP plugin using anti-gravity as its agent UI, provided the plugin independently satisfies the required Google stack in its functionality?
So I wouldn't say MCP plugin using anti-gravity is a part of Google Cloud Services. So maybe you want to have MCP server starting somewhere running Cloud Run to satisfy that requirement. Maybe it could be a possibility, right? Because you're doing a plugin from MCP. So maybe this is where you're hosting your MCP server. So that might work. Just some ideas.
Great, great. Okay, so someone asked, for the Fortified Enterprise Fleet, would Docative? Oh, docative. Okay. A law firm agent orchestrating specialized IP research agents with persistent matter, memory, auditable workflows, security controls, and human lawyer approval be considered strongly aligned with the track. Which 2 to 3 capabilities would judges need to see working live in the 4-minute demo for this project? Oh, interesting. Okay.
I love to see them from end to end, but also show us like how you take care of the security, like your auditable workflow, your security control. What kind of control are you applying into your project? Say if your agent call the other agents and stuff like that. And what about the securities between your agents and your MCP servers and all that kind of stuff, right? So that's the things that we want to see.
Nice. All right. Luca asks, my
A
app
great
runs
project. I like that.
Oh, yeah. Luca asks, my app runs AI flows in the background autonomously for the demo video. Do I need to record the live running, which is very difficult, or do you trust the logs of the run? So this is probably similar to that last
Right.
question that we
Yes.
had.
Yes.
Gotcha. In which case we have that answer. Yasir says, I'm building an autonomous agent that helps students discover relevant opportunities, hackathons, internships, scholarships, since most people miss them due to scattered platforms and lack of personalization. The system collects data from sources like Devpost, oh, shout out to Devpost, Unstop, Major League Hacking, matches them to a user's profile using Gemini, explains why they're relevant, and highlights urgent or missed opportunities. My question, from a judging perspective, how important is implementing a true agent planning loop, dynamic tool selection versus a well-executed automated workflow that clearly shows real-world value and async behavior?
That's a very good question. Let me think about it. The true agent planning loop. But if you don't have the planning, how would you provide a customized, well-planned plan for your users, right? So I think you probably want to have the planning. And then we also want to make sure it's a well-executed workflow. That's what I will be looking for. Because like if you don't actually do the planning, like if you're getting hackathons from like 3 different places, and then they are kind of similar, but one of them does tailor a little bit better with the users ability, right? So you want to provide that plan as well, like looking at the user histories and stuff like that. So I would say I would do the planning because like agents really good at planning, and then you can do the execution of the like helping them to apply and helping them to submit or whatever.
Thank you for that. That was a great question. All right, someone asked, let's see here. Akil asked, for a project where the original data is not available or exposed, can we use mock for the data?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You can sometimes if it's an enterprise version of things and you don't want to expose your enterprise data externally, that's totally fine as well.
Awesome. Let's see. And then, okay, Sanjay says, we're building Aura. Aura is an enterprise-grade multi-agent incident response swarm that safely automates triage and remediation by deeply integrating with the Gemini Enterprise Agent platform. In a multi-agent setup where a log analyzer agent and a metrics prober agent are running asynchronously via agent runtime, what is the recommended pattern for resolving conflicting state updates if both agents attempt to write to the same incident context in the memory bank simultaneously?
It's pattern for resolving conflict state update. Maybe have them not to write to the same memory bank and then having a summary merger to merge those two. And then or giving ranks to which one do you prefer to have rankings, or have another ranking agent to rank the results and then have them merged together. So maybe that's a better way of doing it. So instead of like fighting with one single persistent stage, you have multiple persistent stage and then extract this persistent stage and process them a little bit later. That's what I'll probably do.
Thank you. All right. Syed says accounts payable agents can be manipulated by poisoned invoices or tampered vendor bank details. Restarting the agent is not enough. It may preserve compromised context, and retrying the work can create a duplicate payment. Hisar AI is a governed multi-agent recovery system deployed on Google Cloud. It quarantines the workflow before any receipt is created, uses specialist ADK agents to reconstruct trusted context, obtains one exact human AP decision, and then allows deterministic Hisar gate, not an LLM, to perform exactly one verified sandbox mutation. We'd value feedback on one question. For Fortified Enterprise Fleet scoring, should our 4-minute demo focus mainly on this end-to-end recovery outcome or spend more time explicitly proving components such as agent runtime, memory bank, and model armor?
Just show us that you have agent runtime, memory bank, and model armor, and what you're using them for, and that's it. Talk a little bit more on your workflow.
Right.
We can see that you're
Abraham.
using it. That's fine. Yes. Sorry.
Excellent. No, you're good. You're good. We have a lot of questions. Okay. We're going to fly through them. Let's see. Abraham says, hi, I'm building ops flow for the Taskmaster track. The idea comes from site many African SMEs still handle operational requests manually across WhatsApp, email, spreadsheets, and different people. A simple request can therefore require several repetitive steps, causing delays, missed follow-ups, and errors. OpsFlow is an autonomous operations agent that takes an incoming business request, understands what needs to be done, breaks it into multi-step workflow, executes the required actions, and keeps track of the process until completion, while allowing human approval where needed. My main question for the team, for the Taskmaster track, should I prioritize demonstrating one very strong end-to-end workflow with clear agent autonomy and reliability, or demonstrate several different business workflows to better show OpsFlow's broader potential? What about if it has been done for architecture or back-end development without a front end?
First of all, you want to demonstrate the workflow out of all these, which one can wow us first, right? The one that cannot be done simply. So a happy path is great, but probably not gonna get you a lot of points. Maybe choose the one that's gonna wow the judges. That would be a tactic I would choose. And then what you can do is you can show us some of the workflow that you have, but also talk about it in your README. So this is why README is very important. You can kind of document it there, like these are all the other use cases that I support, so we can read it all from there. So if you wow the judge first, the judges will have curiosity. They'll dig into your project, no matter what. They will anyway. So they'll probably do that. So that's my recommendation for your case.
Thank you. All right. One question we do have, could you clarify what level of completeness is expected for the architecture diagram and multi-agent workflow before the August 31st deadline? So what does complete look like to you?
Well, you're demonstrating all the components that you use and how are they working together. That's a very simple architecture diagram that I'm looking for. So in that one glance, I know what you're deploying into, how are the components are connected together. That's what I'm looking for.
All right.
And
Elena
easy for judge to
asks,
read and easy for judges to consume. Do not come up with all this so I've seen somebody that does a lot of architecture diagrams that has a lot of writing in it. It's basically an essay. Try not to do that. Make it easy and simple and consumable for judges.
That's actually a great segue into this next question from Elena Mann. How long will the judging team typically spend on each submission? Just asking so I have an idea of how detailed to make my submission.
It's a good question. We do suspend. So the first thing is we'll set a clock and we'll watch your. So some of you who will submit like a 20-minute video, but we will only watch 4 minutes of it, and we will then look into your repository. We'll look into like how feasible it is, and we'll have a tool that runs it for you. Kind of look into it, like how well it work and will it work and stuff like that. And then that's how much time. And then we'll put down, like, everyone will have a rubric, so everyone will put down their score from the rubrics that we create, and then everyone's project will get judged by that, and then there will go through multiple layers of them. So your project won't be judged by just one single person. Your project will be judged by multiple people, so that we have an average number of it to make sure it's fair. And then, like, once your project move up the ladder, we'll have more people coming in and look at your projects, and when they move up, they'll get more people looking into it.
Thank you. All right. John asks, we're in the collaborative partner track. Our agent investigates delayed shipments and visibly changes its resolution decision when a new policy is injected mid-flow via vector search. Does this demonstrate synthesis and mutation of data strongly enough, or does it read as just a retrieval system?
Right now, it sounds like a retrieval system to me. To be honest with you, but you want to add a little bit of like, so what after that? What do I do? Like, can I improve the process a little bit to elevate it a little bit more? Because you're thinking you're competing with all the geniuses here in this room, right? Like you've seen some really creative projects here, so you're competing with them. So I would say I would probably take it another level up to make it more competitive.
Nice. All right. I'll take this question. Let's take this question. Fabrice basically is asking, what are you looking for out of the demo video? Like problem, solution, what else?
We're looking for, first of all, your problem statement, of course. Like we know what problem you're trying to solve, how you solve it. That's generally the two things that we're looking for. And then what other details you provide.
All right. Sarav says, I'm building an AI banking platform built with Google ADK, combining multi-agent AI, RAG, NL2, SQL, MCP tools with synthetic data. I think this project is more aligned to the Fortified Enterprise Fleet. Can I participate in this track as an individual? And also, is it okay to use realistic synthetic data as it's not possible to use actual banking data for my particular use case?
The answer is yes, yes.
Excellent.
That's an easy one. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Sudhir says, I had this idea and this hackathon was enough of a push to work on it. Love that. So thank you for that. Context. Night Zero is an autonomous SRE and incident remediation platform powered by Google Gemini 3.7 and multi-sub agents. It continuously monitors live cloud services, autonomously investigates production anomalies, attributes root causes through Git and CI/CD forensics, validates candidate patches inside isolated ephemeral sandboxes, stages proposals at a human reviewer gate. Question. I'm super confused which track I should put this even in. Collaborative partner or enterprise. Night Zero uses just agent memory from the enterprise track for its sub-agent orchestration and context handover.
I would say it sounds more like an enterprise use case for me. So I would try for enterprise, but you can maybe add a little bit of, I think one of the things is security. Maybe add a little bit of security story into that because that's what, like one of the criteria inside is like security. Is it secure? Is your multi-agent secure? So I would try enterprise and then also adding a little bit more security aspect into it.
Nice. All right. Anoop says, I'm building a note taker where you have basically a Jarvis alongside you as you read for the entire session. But at the end of the session, it makes a note for you. But since it requires speech to text and text to speech, latency is a bit high right now. How much would that latency have an issue on my final judgment?
It will be a little bit if that makes the user experience not as good. So so last time we did a multi-model hackathon, there's a lot of people, they have done a lot of tricks to make it looks less latent. So it's more like I don't really realize that latency. There are tricks that people has done throughout, so maybe you can look into that too. And also that's a good point because we encourage you to look at multi-model as well. So you shouldn't be just thinking about text because in this real world, we're thinking about multi-model. We're thinking about live streamings. We're thinking about pictures. We're thinking about like sounds, right? So don't limit yourself on just the text. So I think that's very smart that you include voice as well. So that's a very good point for us. But yeah, so that's just my recommendation.
Thank you. All right, 14 minutes left on the clock. Let's see how many we can get through. Yeah, but we have like 42 open questions. So I'm like, oh, okay. Again, if we don't answer all the questions on this call, you can definitely continue to ask questions in the Discord, and we'll make sure we'll have the Google Cloud answer as many as we can feasibly get to before the deadline. All right. Our next question says, for a fortified enterprise fleet, would you consider an external deterministic authorization plane where Gemini, agent runtime, memory, and gateway remain explicitly non-sovereign and every exact action requires fresh present state evaluation plus a one-shot permit, a stronger design than embedding authorization inside the agent graph? Which evidence best proves that separation to judges? IAM, resource topology, runtime, denial traces, or independently recomputed content, address permits, and receipts?
So here's my take on this. That would be a very cool use case for us, but since this is a Google Cloud and Google Cloud funding hackathon, I would say it's going to get to a point where it's really good, but I'm not sure you'll be winning the grant project. You're at this risk. So that would be my take on this.
All right. Let's see. Let's go through any other questions that haven't been answered already. Okay, so Vito says, we built Nasaba Gate as a governed multi-agent fleet using Gemini 3.5 Flash, Google ADK, Cloud Run, Cloud Task, and Firestore. It performs durable asynchronous supplier release workflows with separated authority, deterministic policy enforcement, and replayable evidence. Our demonstration uses synthetic data and proves restart and cross-revision continuity, but does not claim weeks of production data operation. Would you submit this under Fortified Enterprise Fleet or Taskmaster?
I think it sounds more like a taskmaster to me. By listening into this right now. But I could be wrong. Without looking into like more details of it, but it feels like Taskmaster to me.
All right. And
but we're not getting a lot of the question from the Taskmaster, surprisingly, because I thought that we'll get more of that track submission because that one feels more of a day-to-day things that people would bump into. But I'm just surprised. That's all.
Yeah, it is surprising. We have some people who have their hands raised. Maybe we take one or two live ones before the session ends. I see Ajay and I see Yasir. Let me know, Ajay and Yasir, in the chat if you'd still like to come on. In the meantime, I'll read another one and then
Sure.
you two just let me know. All right, Bashir says we're building Kernok, an agentic workload orchestration engine, instead of just answering prompts. It takes a real workload, prioritizes tasks and dependencies, executes them using tools, verifies the results, and recovers from failures. We'd love feedback on whether our demo should focus on one powerful end-to-end workload or show multiple use cases to demonstrate generality.
I think that goes back to one of the answer before. Which one will wow us, right? Which workflow will wow us? And if you think that complete end-to-end workflow will be your go-to, I would focus on that.
Okay. All right. I saw Ajay put their hand down. So Yashir, I'm going to allow you to talk and then you can explain your project further and maybe get some feedback or ask your question. All right, Yashir, you are able to talk now. But you'll have to unmute. And if not, we'll move on to Camilo. All right. All right, we're gonna have to move on. All right, Camilo, you're up next. Camilo, you're up and you just have to unmute. Let me know. And if not, we'll go into one of the other Q&As. All right, no worries. All right, so Gabriel asks or says, for Fortified Enterprise Fleet in Singularity OS Council, we have 7 agents running my business, Singularity OS AI LLC. We're a multi-agent system where agents execute real business actions, outreach, deploy, and billing inside a sandboxed workspace. But every sensitive action is gated by human confirmation once the agent can never bypass. And the full chain is written to an auditable trail with cross-agent veto. Since we run a genuinely autonomous fleet with that enterprise-grade security and governance layer, how would you judge the strength of our quote-unquote unlikely hero and the multi-agent complexity of that delegation against the 40% innovation criteria?
It sounds very innovative to me from what you're saying. So yes, I think you'll probably get a very good score from that. And then we'll look into the way that you integrate these swarms of agents We'll look at how you do your audits and how you kind of have everything work together, orchestrate all of them together. So we'll look into that as well. So from the sound of it, I think your implementation is pretty solid.
These are great. Okay, we have a little bit more than 5 minutes left on the clock. I'll move on to some of the later ones, see who we can catch. But I see Surav. Surav, he already asked a question. I got to move on to someone else. All right, Satya says, our core bet is that a product like this, automating merchant matching, feed compilation, and health tracking for Google's ordering redirect integration is something aggregators would actually adopt, given how manual that integration is today. Does that pain feel real and big enough to build a product on? And if we took this further as a full product, does it fit what you're looking for in the Taskmaster category? Is this the kind of entry that stands out to judges?
Yes, that's 100% a Taskmaster. Yeah, yes, that would be great. And then, like we've seen, one of our hackathon winner, when he won the prize, actually he worked with the YC and he's starting his own company with his idea. So I've seen some great use case and some great people does great things with the project beyond just the hackathon. So I think that's a very good use case.
Excellent. Okay. Richard Roy says, for the collaborative partner track, where the agent remembers approved context, adapts to feedback, and carries project state across sessions, what would make that continuity feel meaningfully agentic to you rather than just chatbot with memory?
Well, it needs to. So a lot of the problem right now is memory rot, like context rot and stuff like that. So if you just use it as a chatbot, that will be less attractive to our judges. Like this is another chatbot that remembers it. I think a lot of the chatbot that really does it already. So you want to make sure you're also, that's why I hinted a little bit about self-improving. So how do you use that memory to help you improve the engagement of your agent to the user or even to the outside world, right? So that is something that, or maybe providing much more meaningful, maybe providing more filtering of your data, and gear the way that the agent will respond to the user. These are the things that you can use to help your use case.
All right. Sahil asks, for the Taskmaster track, is a multimodal AI workflow 2.5D MRI vision triage plus Google ADK plus Vertex AI Gemini 3.5 report synthesis a strong fit? For the 4-minute demo video, does showing the live UI with the cloud run dashboard count as proof of GCP execution?
Yes,
So that was an easy one.
that was the easy one.
All right, we have 5 minutes left on the clock. Let's see here. All right, we have one. My agent finishes each run in seconds, but it completes a full end of day workflow. Capture, close, backup, aging, ranked email dispatch. For a taskmaster, is workflow depth what counts, not how long the agent stays running on the clock? And since I understood that you might be looking for agents that run for days, will our fast execution negatively affect my evaluation?
No, it's not about having the agent runs for days and does not shut down. It's about how clever your agent runs a several day of your tasks, right? So that's what we're looking for. Maybe I didn't put it the way that it should sound, but I think having agents constantly being there and then like doing things that you shouldn't do, it doesn't sound like a good implementation to me. So I think that's what you meant. Like if you find a clever way of responding instantly and having a best job that responds, or having another agent that responds to it, but keeping that specific task still long running for, like from a user's perspective, that is still a taskmaster for me.
Right, let's get a little bit more high level. Someone asked, could you clarify what content or sections you expect out of someone's README, for instance?
First of all, short descriptions of your entire project, and descriptions of how the folder was structured so we can quickly find things, and then document on the things that you find interesting when you're implementing, like your insights into that as well. And some of the things that you'd be proud that you didn't have time to talk about, that would be a good thing that you put into the README as well.
Awesome. All right, we probably have time for one or two more. Camilo asks, okay, so Camilo asks in here, we're building an agent control plane, autonomous back office agents that write to production databases where every write is staged, explained, and reversible with one click. ADK and Gemini on Cloud Run, Cloud SQL, Firestore, and PubSub. Track Fortified Enterprise Fleet. Our kernel is deliberately deterministic. No LLM can grant permission. Models can only veto, and a combinator takes the strictest verdict. That means building our agent registry and runtime instead of using the enterprise agent platform components. Right read of the track, or is this the right read of the track, or are we leaving points on the table?
What we do prefer if you can use the agent registry from the agent platform inside Google Cloud, we do prefer you to do that. But looking at the time right now, I don't know if you can move it over. So yes, that is, so if we are picking the winner, we'll prefer somebody that has implemented with the agent registry inside the inside our agent platform. But I think you have a very good fortified enterprise project. So I would still submit it. If your project stand out, I think it's going to get a very high score.
Amazing. All right, we'll take one last one, just like quickly scrolling to see if we can get something that's like a little different. All right, Hamim says, my agent invokes a UNet segmentation checkpoint I trained in July before the submission period. Everything else, orchestrator, gate, deployment, is new, and I've disclosed it in the README. Does using a pre-existing model artifact count against newly created, or is disclosure sufficient as long as no training happens in the repo? That's their first question.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine for this case if you disclose it. Well, look, right now it sounds okay to me, but I need to maybe dig a little bit into like how you were doing it and all that stuff. But it sounds okay to me.
Okay. Their second question says the Taskmaster brief says the agent should send the right info to the right places. My workflow triggers autonomously, analyzes, and persists a brief to Firestore surfaced in a web console. Does that satisfy sends, or do you expect delivery to an external channel like email or Slack?
No, it doesn't matter. Like as long as it delivers to, like if your main user is using a web application, then sending it back to a web application makes sense, right? So.
All right. And their last question, because they had a 1, 2, 3, number 3. My main contribution.
That's smart. Three questions in one single chat.
I was like, you got me there. You got me. Number 3, my main contribution is negative capability, a deterministic gate that blocks unsupported claims before the model sees them and rewrites hallucinated prose. Does that read under innovation and operational utility, or only under architectural discipline?
That sounds like architectural discipline to me, because I've seen a lot of the use cases like this anymore. So I wouldn't say that was innovative. But that's me, just I'm one of the judge. So that way for me. So some of the judges may think differently. So that's why we have multiple people judging the same project.
Amazing. All right, that's going to be the last question we're able to take live. This was like a 45-minute session essentially, but I want to say thank you all for submitting all your amazing questions and your amazing projects. I want to say thank you, Willie and Christina, for being here to answer these questions and give feedback live. This was a really great session. I would say probably the last thing I want to ask is, given that they have like the next couple of days before the deadline, what's your final piece of advice to kind of get them to the finish line?
So I wouldn't worry too much of the details. Just get it in there first, submit first, and then wherever that you are, we'll judge based on what you have so far, right? So just go ahead. You might have a shot. You never know, right? So just go ahead and submit it.
Amazing. Anything from you, Willie?
Mine would be to have fun. I'd say definitely we appreciate your hard work, but have fun. This is meant to be fun. And to Christina's point, get where you can to get across the finish line. We're going to take a look at every single one. So don't forget to have fun along the way. We're excited to see all your projects.
You're right. Having fun. That's something that I always forget. Like have fun, actually.
Yes, have fun. It's meant to be a good time and have fun.
Yes.
And we appreciate you all for taking the time.
Yes.
Amazing. Thanks so much, everyone. And on that final note, please fill out the survey that I posted in the chat. I will post it again in the chat, just to let us know how you found this session. We want to be able to continue to do more of these sessions as we do more of these hackathons. I hope it was super helpful. Any feedback you have, definitely let us know. And yeah, have fun and excited to see what projects that you all build. Lock in. Deadline is coming up August 31st. No pressure, but pressure. All right. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.